All right, so it's Marshall, Mr. Wonderful, Josh, and Ben. Now, we're all here to talk about multiple things, but mostly about investing. Now, you guys have a new fund.
We do.
Let's talk about that. What is the purpose of the fund?
Sure. And I thought that the purpose of our talk today was just to talk about how great denim shirts are and how good Ben and I look in them.
I think I look spectacular in this.
I think you.
Yeah, but I mean, we coordinated.
We got the text messages going this morning. So, in all seriousness, so we started Animal Capital back in March, and
So the fund is called Animal Capital.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Is there a reason? Sometimes the name says a lot about the mission.
it might be a better question for Josh. So Josh, you can tell me if I'm misspeaking here.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I think it's really the idea of an animal just aligned with our hustle. That there's nothing that we will not do to find a way to work harder and to work smarter.
Yeah.
And then like the animal ethos.
We're hunting
really,
for those investments, right?
That-
It's like the investments are our prey, and we're the predators. So no matter what's going to happen, we're going to be the animal that finds that prey.
That's exactly right. Whether we're hunting for LPs in our fund, or we're hunting for things to invest in, or hunting for ways to drive value for our founders, like that's
I
what we
have
do.
to admit, I see a lot of fund names. I talk to a lot of fund managers. I've never heard of Animal Capital. It's a great name.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
Just out of interest, do you own animalcapital.com?
We own animalcapital.com and we own the name Animal Capital, period.
That's very important.
We really started this fund out of interest in people aligning with our investment strategy. Josh was nice enough to want to work with me about a year ago, a little bit more than that now. People were offering Josh and some of his housemates and Michael Grew and our other business partner equity in these young businesses where they really...
Well, that fits because Michael is an animal. I know Michael.
That's a fact.
See, there's multiple reasons, right? It's not just one. It was called Animal for like at least 4 or
Now
5.
I really get it.
Yeah.
But
If it was just Michael, it'd be called Predator Capital. But we, they were getting offered equity in all sorts of things. Like,
so, I mean, really what's going on here is Josh is such a huge player in the influencer space. Every guy and his dog is coming after you to get an endorsement, right?
Yeah. So
And if you're going to endorse something, why don't you own it?
exactly. That was our strategy. It really became, we want to own everything we touch. We want a piece of everything we're involved in. And then when we were going to start investing, we realized the value of ourselves in the advisory shares as well. And then we were bringing people like Marshall to really help us out on that side. And that kind of became our game plan when we were going in and investing in these companies, is being able to be everyone's best friend, being able to provide so much value, and really getting to also have the advisory side as well to help out our...
Let's talk about the criteria.
Yeah.
Because that's really what matters. You look at it through the same filter every time, right?
of course.
Okay, so hit me.
So you say the same filter every time. I would say the initial things are our general scope, and I've said, Josh and I've said this to every investor and every investor call, which is if it's not making people's lives better or more fun, we're probably not investing in it. And I know that seems almost like flippant or silly, but it narrows the scope for us to things that we really believe are making people's lives better. So we think about fintech, life sciences, a little bit of consumer, primarily better for you.
What about foods? Foods.
Better, certainly better for
Yep.
you foods. That's a space that we've not only dabbled in, we're significantly invested in and hope to get some of our
And
founders
funding
under Shark
ourselves.
Tank at some point.
And founding ourselves, Annie Energy.
So that's one of your products, right?
Yeah. So this was the essentially more lifestyle type drink compared to an energy drink, the healthy version of an energy drink. So less calories, less sugar. What it's actually the caffeine is used with, it's used with green coffee bean or green tea beans instead of going into actually a lot more of like the chemical side of things. So yeah, it's just a healthier variant of an energy drink.
Now, why we're all sitting here together is because we have done a deal together.
Fortunately.
And so, which is great. And it's called Wonderfy. And I have been fascinated with, decentralized finance now for 3 years because I'm using it now, to do all kinds of sort of different things. But I've realized that it's really complicated and hard to do. I've had to hire 3 different people that are inside my firm now that just deal with all this stuff. And I want to simplify it. And we've got the CEO of Wonderfy right here. Let's talk about this. So Ben, what's Wonderfy?
Wonderfy is really just focused on making DeFi simple, like really simple for people. It's
First of all, what is DeFi? Because most people have no idea what it is.
DeFi is probably the most important sector to pay attention to right now. And that's obviously, I'm biased, but huge growth potential. It's kind of a subset of crypto, which is giving people the power to own and control their own assets. So it's a huge.
So instead of
huge
sticking your
potential.
stuff in a wallet like Coinbase,
Yeah.
you put it in a decentralized scenario or platform like Wonderfy.
Yeah, exactly. And you retain control over it. You're not giving up control to, somebody that could do something fraudulent with it or something like that. So there's a big movement behind this, but we're really only in the very early innings of DeFi. So with WonderFi, we're really trying to bring this to the masses.
Now, why I like it and why I got involved is very simple. You can stake your assets and make interest. In my case, I'm using USDC as stablecoin, lending it out and making between 5 and 6%. That is very cool because you can't make that in a bank account right now. And so that's what we're going to be able to do at WonderFi and simplify it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's something where there's a ton of potential, but it's only people that have 24 hours a day to spend learning crypto and DeFi that are able to access it right now. So the whole mission is democratizing finance, but the only people that can access it are engineers that are in their basements dealing with this stuff 24 hours a day. So I think there's a really important goal here that we have, which is just making it accessible. And for us, getting you guys involved has been a key part of that because it's really important to get the message out.
So the investment thesis,
Sure.
let me see if you agree with me, Marshall. Of all the people in this room, yeah, I've got millions of followers, but nothing like Josh has, particularly with Gen Z. And Gen Z is more hip to crypto than any other generation ever.
100%.
So my thought was if we get together on this, I can do millennials and baby boomers, and Josh can do Gen Z, and we'll have a massive amount of people we can show this product to and tell them about it, tell the story of the company. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, I mean, exactly like that. I think for me, that's why it was so cool to be able to be a part of WonderFi is that we all had this aligned, I would say, passion. And it's empowering the youth. It's bringing in all these different ages together to really learn about a space that is so important to know about, right? Really be able to teach people what they can do with their money, with financial literacy, coming in and investing. And like you said, Gen Z is the most hip generation to crypto. They are talking about it every day. They're seeing it on their social medias every day. They are sometimes putting money into coins that they aren't getting any information on. There's no one advising them. They don't have a financial advisor telling them what to do. So this platform is so important, I think, to not just me and Gen Z, but so many different ages to really learn about what they can do with DeFi.
Yeah, because I would like to make sure that, and this is the one thing that I made sure when I invested in the company, along with Ben and the team, we need to be compliant. We need to get our tax forms out. We got to do stuff that doesn't get us in trouble. I don't want to be a crypto cowboy. I don't want to do something that gets me, the tax guy mad at me. I want to pay my taxes if I make money. I'm cool with it. I'm fine with that. But most of these platforms do not report, but this does. And that's what I think is so important.
Ben, I do have one question for you because we talk about this a lot, and Josh and I had the chance to talk about this on a couple of different news networks. The concept of lending for yield and why that's such a big deal. Can you just walk through the really 5-year-old version of what on earth it means to lend for yield?
Yeah, I mean, it basically means putting your assets somewhere and then generating interest on them. So, we're used to depositing money in your bank account. And right now, if you do that with, Bank of America or, Scotiabank, wherever you are, it's 0.25% that you're getting. So it's really
That's not beating inflation. Inflation's
exactly.
over 2%.
Yeah,
So you're losing money.
You're losing money. Yeah. So people feel like for, I'm a millennial. For millennials, they feel like they're losing out. They're getting left behind when that's where they're putting their assets. And I think it's really interesting. Gen Z definitely has they look at money differently. Kevin's generation looks at money differently. They have different objectives. But really it all kind of comes together with, lending for yield is locking your asset in somewhere and then, generating a significant amount of interest in it, which really puts it ahead of what you can do with a bank.
So what has it felt like, or how has the platform changed since you introduced Kevin and Josh and myself to your lives and giving us your cell phone number and access to you in your house?
How many late night texts are you getting now?
A lot. Yeah, I don't know. Kevin doesn't sleep, I guess. No, but it's been great. I don't know if I've told you this story, but one of the conditions that Kevin had coming in as an investment was that you guys could co-invest.
Yeah,
So-
Kevin, I think you told me that story.
Yeah, I just thought it made a lot of sense. Like it's a perfect. And we're
Yeah.
gonna look for other things to do together because you're obviously you got a mandate to invest in it. You got to fund. You got to find
Exactly.
ideas. And I think it's really good. Financial services is the biggest market in the world. But let's talk about what did happen. You took it public. This company trades on the NEO now.
We took it public, but just on your question, like I think what it's done is it's kind of changed my perspective on how different demographics look at finance. Because again, Josh has, you guys have such a good lens on Gen Z and what the needs and desires are and issues, and Kevin's audience is more kind of traditional investment community, and there's all these. It's super interesting because again, everybody has different access to finance, and what DeFi is trying to do is lower the barriers to entry and just level the playing field. So you can't do that by just having one demographic that is representing your company. So this has just opened it up where we're like, okay, we have boomers, we have millennials, we have Gen Z. We're working on getting more female representation, other underrepresented groups. So that's really cool. I think that's like the driving force, like the fire behind kind of what we're doing. So super excited about that.
What really got me was my daughter was listening to a podcast I was doing with one of the crypto guys, the Pomp. He's legendary in the crypto space. You know Pomp, right?
Yeah, I know Paul.
And I'm talking to Pomp about how complicated it was just to set up my first staking on USDC, loaning my first USDC out there. It was like mind-numbing hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was brutal. And my daughter heard it, Savannah, she's in New York, and said, Dad, I want to do the same thing. I want interest off my cash in my bank account. How do I do this? And I said, I don't know how to do it. I have to hire guys to do it. And the whole idea of WonderFi is that she's going to be able to download it and do it and be compliant and everything else. That's making this something, democratizing it and making it something the consumer can use is the whole mission. I think we're going to kill it. That's
Yeah, nobody's doing it. Like if you look at what we have versus all the DeFi apps right now, they're just catering towards, again, people that are like so ingrained in the space. And it's the early adopter problem, like you see with a lot of different technology where it's just serving more and more to that early user, and it's getting further and further away from something that like your daughter can just pick up and understand and use.
It's not adapting to try to obtain new users.
No, it's not. It's just serving that, like there's more demand.
That existing fan base.
Exactly. That's exactly.
I know it sounds silly, but it really feels to me the same way that now you see like 2-year-olds at the dinner table with the iPad and they know what they're doing, and you see them swiping or like pausing a video, and like, I mean, even Josh and I didn't know how to do that at the dinner table. It's the exact same thing with this. Like when you think about your savings account and you think about the way that you're going to make money and save for the future, we're just trying to teach people that level of in the back of my brain. When I turn 18, I'm going to college. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm heading my WonderFi account, and this is going to be the way that I begin to build that real base for the rest of my life.
It should just be like a second nature, like it just
Exactly.
muscle memory type thing.
So I think with Josh and I, our job is to get people to try it.
100.
That's it. Just try it. That's the key. So if you're listening to this and you haven't downloaded WonderFi yet, do it.
What are you doing?
Come on. Exactly. Try it. I mean, learn something. It's real easy, and start making interest on your money, which is really, I think, kind of paramount to long-term investing. Where you want to go with your career, Josh? Why are you an investor anyways? You were just a dude on TikTok.
I think for investing, why it was so cool to me was just being a part of the future, like having that responsibility and really that power at the same time to know like I'm going to be involved in decisions at the next Amazon and at the next Uber and be a part of this business world for a really, really long time.
But you're taking care of your own future, because one day you will be 65, and you got to have something in the bank when that happens.
I know. I gotta make sure I'm able to feed my family and buy my mom a house when she retires, and make sure my younger siblings are set for life. Like that's setting fine with investing. That's going to be able to set myself up for exponential, like just growing wealth.
You can't do it unless you invest. That's the key. You got to learn how to do it.
And the way you guys are doing this with the fund, like from a founder's perspective, is amazing, because you just get more bought in. Like that you were talking about the equity versus kind of like the other paid promotion stuff, and it's way different when you're a founder. Like I've worked with paid promoters before, and it's much more like one and done, and you don't have the buy-in on like the long-term mission and objective. So
it's not authentic.
It's not authentic. Yeah, exactly. It's
it
like
isn't at all.
you're representing this, and so I mean, you guys obviously get that. That's why you structured like your fund like that. But it's really great from like a company's perspective.
It's honestly even a step further because I've talked to a lot of venture businesses that they have one. It's a random founder in Chicago, and they've got one friend who's got a friend that has 2 million followers on YouTube, subscribers on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever, and they want to just offer them something for free. The fact that founders see us and they say, this is a thoughtful decision that they're making with some of the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, the founders of Netflix and Android and Tinder are investors in our business. It's that plus everything else that we do to sort of like affect the outcome for you.
Well, it says long term.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's not just churn and burn. It's
Exactly.
long term. I mean, I think people are starting to smell BS with this influencer just paying for them. I mean,
Right.
it's
Well, there's a
bullshit.
way to do it. There's a way to do it, right? I think that the creators oftentimes know what their audience likes and what they don't like, right? And then you're going to see the creators that are going to go and sell out for the deals, and then you're going to see some that don't. But the people that don't, they're going to ones that are going to achieve that long-term wealth. Where the people that do sell out for the brand deal, you might have a couple dollars in your bank account for a while, but unless you're going and investing that money and using that, you're going to end up drying out.
Yeah, I really think it has to be transparent. I do endorsement deals, but I have to be using the product. I got to eat my own cooking. So I'm very, very selective. I'm a spokesperson for stuff like Start Engine, which is equity crowdfunding, but I also became a shareholder. FTX, same thing, shareholder and paid spokesperson with Tom Brady. I didn't know Tom was into crypto, but it turns out his wife is, Giselle. So that's how he did that deal. And it's real. Like, I eat the cooking. I think that's my motto. Eat your own cooking. If you don't eat your cooking, people are going to see right through it.
What for you, Kevin, when someone's bringing you an endorsement deal, what are there a couple of like the first things and like lenses that you say it has to have X, Y, and Z for us to for me to start to get interested in it?
I'm in the same mode of you guys. I need sustainability. I don't want to be part of doing something that harms the planet. That's not where my head's at. I'm one of the first guys to graduate in environmental studies in Waterloo years ago. The first cohort, because I'm into that stuff. Because I believe customers of products that know you have a mission become loyal because they want to support the mission and it's good for business. It's not just some BS advertising. That's number one. And I also think I get sent a lot of products, same like you guys do. I recently got sent a beverage. I'm in the wine business, so somebody sent me something that wasn't wine, and I tried it and it tasted like shit. And I thought I would never, ever endorse this crap.
If you like that video, wait till you see my next one. Don't forget to click right over here and subscribe.